that we are guests, and to please keep that in mind. When you leave, please take everything that you brought with you out with you. As the scouts would say, please leave no trace, so that we could hopefully come back again. Now, just by way of logistics and housekeeping, we're going to proceed the same way, or continue the same way that we have the first two hearings. It's still a listening session. You will have 5 minutes to speak, and then we have a timer that you'll be able to see. I'll get the list of speakers in a moment, and we're going to follow that. Roadmap. In addition, where we are at, we have made some revisions based upon comments that we've received shortly thereafter the second hearing. We're not done with revisions, so the thinking is that we will be continuing this meeting most likely to December the 20th, which is also would have been our normal public board meeting. And what we may try to do is, hopefully if things go well this evening, we're going to ask if we can come back here for that December 20th meeting, anticipating that we will probably have at least this amount of folks, if not more. So again, you could mark in your calendar that we're going to be continuing on December the 20th. However, like any other meetings, I suggest that you double check the website or call Village Hall to make sure that things are still on track. Now, also by way of progress/housekeeping, we have received a Part 2 environmental assessment from our planners. We have our representative planner, Jonathan Lockman, from Nelson Pope Voorhees, with us this evening. What happens with the Part 2 is the Part 2 basically will designate areas that this proposed law may affect. And again, just by way of summary, impact on the land, impact on geological features, impacts on surface water, impact on groundwater, impact on flooding, impacts on air, impact on plants and animals. There's about 13 different areas that are addressed. So Part 2 identifies the areas that may or may not be affected, and then we anticipate receiving a Part 3, which will be the document to address the areas that may be affected by this law. So, come December the 20th, theoretically, we would have revised the law further based upon additional comments that we've been receiving and will continue to receive. In addition, we will have a Part 3 that would have been submitted by our planners. And yes, the Part 3 will be available for folks to look at. I think we should be able to put it on the website. It shouldn't be an issue. So you will have an opportunity to see that document and obviously comment on that document. And again, we will remind you that if for some reason you were unable to speak this evening, or you don't want to speak but you would rather submit something in writing, obviously that's just as good. So that's where we're at housekeeping-wise, and that's where we are at calendar-wise. So again, we hope to be reconvening on December the 20th. Hopefully it will be here. Hopefully it will also be at 7:30. But again, as we get closer, we'll be able to confirm it via the website and the notices and things of that nature that we normally do for public meetings. Okay. So that having been said, I'll just ask if I can get the list of speakers that folks have signed up for. And again, be reminded that you've got 5 minutes. I think we do have one attorney here, so we'll let counsel go first. Other than one attorney, are there any other attorneys that are here that wish to speak on behalf of a group? Okay. When he or she gets here, we'll deal with it. Okay. So, again, Counselor, Mr. Mogul, I would just ask that, again, your name and address for the record. I think we gave attorneys a little bit more time last time, so we will offer that up again. So you've got 10 minutes, Mr. Mogul, as opposed to 5. And we would just ask that you, again, keep your comments as much to the point as you can, and hopefully with new matters as opposed to what's already on the record, as opposed to the first time. So, that having been said, are you ready, Mr. Mogul?
If I can figure out the mic stand. Anybody have greater experience with typing?
And again, folks, housekeeping-wise, we're probably going to have to wrap things up here by 9:45, so I should keep an eye on time. Actually, as Mr. Mogul is setting up, maybe we can have someone else speak. Mr. Mogul, you can set up. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Right. Then go right ahead. All right, 10 minutes begins.
Good evening. My name is Steve Mogul. My address is 457 Broadway. Okay.
Turn the mic on.
Hello? Okay. Is that better?
Yes.
My name is Steve Mogul. My address is 457 Broadway, Suite 16A, Monticello, New York. I represent Coupon of Chestnut Ridge. I did appear before this board on June 28th regarding this law, and I don't intend to repeat everything that I said previously. I will, however, repeat my comment about what Coupon is. Coupon is your neighbors, it's your constituents, it's people that love this village. It's people like all good Americans who believe in equal treatment for everyone, regardless of race, color, creed, or religion. I'll say again, as I said before, that freedom of religion is sacred, that religious worship or absence of religious worship should be honored and protected. It is so by the Constitution, by federal law, by state law. This principle has also been protected in a very real way by our veterans, by law enforcement, and by plain old folks who simply sought to worship as they pleased in churches and synagogues so very recently. However, the rights of those who wish to worship in a particular way can't trump the rights and needs of everyone else who chooses not to worship in the same manner or not to worship in any way at all, or to simply remain at peace in their home and in the community that they chose to live in. The proposed amendments to the zoning code do precisely that. Perhaps out of good conscience or perhaps out of motives that are less noble, this board seems poised to push through this legislation over the legitimate needs of a substantial portion of this community. Perhaps the majority of this community. And the board chooses to do so over the clear objections of its own planning board, over principles of good municipal planning, and even over the requirements of the law. This board has stated that it's pushing through this legislation in part because it has no choice, because the federal law known as ARLUPA demands that this law be passed. That is simply false. There's another attorney who's going to speak this evening further about the requirements of ARLUPA. What the board neglects to say, furthermore, is that this law supposedly and erroneously crafted to comply with the requirements of ARLUPA is itself not crafted in compliance with New York State law. New York State Village Law 7-704 and a long line of cases require that zoning be undertaken, quote, in accordance with a comprehensive plan, close quotes. In Stone versus Scarpato, the Second Department stated, 285 AD 2D 467, Second Department 2001. The Second Department stated, quote, a village must exercise its zoning power in accordance with a, quote, comprehensive plan. A comprehensive plan need not be contained in a single document. Rather, all available and relevant evidence of the municipality's land use policies need to be examined to determine whether the municipality has a comprehensive plan. What is the Village of Chestnut Ridge's comprehensive plan? Certainly doesn't have a formal written comprehensive plan. Ms. Hilda Kogut made a FOIL request dated October 15th of this year, and the reply in relevant part stated, quote, other than records maintained relative to the existing zoning code, which constitutes a comprehensive zoning of height, area, and use within the Village of Chestnut Ridge, in a pattern that furthers land use policy and benefits the entire community, no records requested in your FOIL have been found to exist. But otherwise, the existing zoning code and the pattern of existing land use is the comprehensive plan. It is the comprehensive plan. I'm going to provide the board with an updated version of the report that was provided, I believe, back in June by Planet Main Street Incorporated. He's our certified planner. So with your permission, planner, if I can approach. I'm going to direct you to page 7 of the handout. This is a follow-up of what's on page 7. This is the 2012 land use map for the village, which shows a land use pattern consisting of predominantly single-family neighborhoods. That would be shown in yellow, surrounding non-residential nodes, the blue, the green, purple, and red within the village. This pattern of land use was shaped by the community's long-established land use policies. In other words, the community's comprehensive plan. This is the 2008 land use map. It hasn't changed much. The land use in the village has been consistent for a number of years. The proposed action is a drastic departure from the long-established land use policies. As stated on page 2 of the handout, at the bottom, the proposed action would allow, the effect of the proposed action is to allow such uses through every single-family residential neighborhood and street in the village. As proposed, residential gathering places and places of worship would be an allowed use in over 90% of the geographic area of the Village of Chestnut Ridge. The proposed action would fundamentally change the character of the community and poses numerous potentially significant and highly likely adverse environmental impacts related to aesthetic resources, community character, transportation and community services such as water, sewer, police, fire, ambulance, schools, etc. While the effects of each of the items listed above are palpable, when taken in their totality, they have the potential to render the village of Chestnut Ridge unrecognizable and completely alter the quality of life that the residents enjoy today. I ask, is altering the community's character and encountering so many adverse environmental effects bad in and of itself? The answer is no. The law is clear that zoning laws change. They're flexible. They change with the needs of the community. However, such a drastic change to the long-established land use policy should only occur through a process that allows both for proper planning, for unbiased expert information and input, as well as an opportunity for residents to weigh in and shape the policies so that they reflect the desire of the community that they want to live in. The Court of Appeals, the highest court in New York State, in a case called Udell versus Haas, 21 New York 2nd 463, 1968, stated, "This fundamental conception of zoning has been present from its inception. The almost universal statutory requirement that zoning conform to a, quote, well-considered plan or a comprehensive plan is a reflection of that view. The thought behind the requirement is that consideration must be given to the needs of the community as a whole. In exercising their zoning powers, local authorities must act for the benefit of the community as a whole, following calm and deliberate consideration of the alternatives."
We'll give you a minute extension, Mr. Mogul, but please wrap up.
Sure. And not because calm and deliberate consideration of the alternatives, and not because of the whim of either an articulate minority or even a majority of the community. Thus, the mandate of the village law is not a mere technicality, which serves as an obstacle course for public officials to overcome in carrying out their duties. Rather, the comprehensive plan is the essence of zoning. Without it, there can be no rational allocation of land use. It's the assurance that the public welfare is being served and that zoning does not become more than just a Gallup poll. I'm concerned when I hear those words, calm and deliberate consideration of the alternatives. In a Logan article that came out today, I believe the mayor stated that an environmental review should be completed by December. That's a misquote. It wouldn't be the first.
Thank you, Mr. Mogul.
Okay, I'll finish up then. I assume that I'm representing a number of people here, not just
You have 10 minutes, Mr. Mogul, like I said before, and I understand there's another individual that's also going to be taking 10 minutes. I gave you a minute extension already. You need another 30 seconds, you can wrap up in 30 seconds. Excuse me, one meeting, please. Thank you.
I hope this board rejects this process as tainted. From its inception, it opens the door to expert planning, as it's supposed to be undertaken, not with a predetermined outcome, but with an open mind. I did an informal survey of 19 villages and 5 towns in the county of Rockland. Informal. There are 3 villages that have existing house of worship laws. 2 were passed in accordance with the passage of a comprehensive plan after years of planning. This is a rush to judgment. This has a predetermined outcome, and as a result, it should be rejected.
Thank you, Mr. Next on the list is Carol Goodman. Carol Goodman. Again, Ms. Goodman, just for clarity of the record, your name and address for the record.
My name is Carol Goodman. I live at 964 Chestnut Ridge Road for 56 years. 53, excuse me. this unconscionable law is put into practice, there will no longer be a village of Chestnut Ridge. It will be a religious enclave pandering just to one group. Okay. I believe if this unconscionable law is put into practice, there will no longer be a village of Chestnut Ridge. It will be a religious enclave pandering to one group, stepping on all others that for years have been a harmonious, multicultural community. Not only will there be extreme suffering for those people living here, but severe environmental problems. Sewerage, water, lack of paid taxes, land, pollution, noise, crowding, inadequate schools, cars, traffic, bright lights, garbage, property destruction, etc. This cannot be allowed. People with intelligence and level heads must come together to create an acceptable conclusion, not one proposed by those sitting in Village Hall and those they are pandering to. Thank you.
Richard Haley. Again, Mr. Paley, just name and address for the record. Thank you.
Right, Richard Paley at 17 Lancaster Lane. It's apparent from, I think, almost everybody here that there's what would appear to be a sellout to one particular group. We all know who it is. And why is that, becomes the question. Elected officials are supposed to represent the will of the people that voted for them. But apparently, the majority of the county, or the people that are here in Chestnut Ridge, don't like this new zoning law. And yet the board and the mayor seem to be so much in favor of it, and they want to push it through. Is there a hidden agenda somewhere?
Folks, please. Just let me wait for Mr. Paley's timing to do that.
All right, I appreciate the recognition. And I have plenty of time, 3 minutes is far more than that. Okay, so, you know, I understand Mr. Mayor was running for assembly. That didn't work out too well. Maybe because he didn't exactly do a good PR job with the community he represents. I think that had something to do with it. At any rate, from what I know about this particular community, the ultra-Orthodox religious community, who I'm talking about, I understand that they are able to convert their single-family houses to places of worship. It goes off the tax rolls. And that means everybody else has to pay for it. They can worship the way they want. If I'm wrong about this, I'll be stand corrected, but at least that's my lay understanding of how it works. Okay, that's number one. It's true also that the marriages are not recognized by law because they're religious marriages, which is a tremendous burden on everybody else because of the fact that we have to pay their welfare. We have to pay their...
Mr. Paley, please stick with the law. Please don't go off track. Please stay with the House of Worship law.
Okay, House of Worship law. All right. Well, I think that was articulated very well by the attorney who spoke here first. You know, it's... but part of that zoning law change does create tax burden on everybody else, only because because those houses of worship come off the tax rolls. There's also all the parking issues, all the environmental issues, and a lot of other things that other speakers can more enumerate. But we all know them, and the people here are all against that happening. They should have a few places to worship in and around the town. There's already established a synagogue, maybe one or another place, etc. But to put so many in every street, it just doesn't seem to make any sense. And nobody here really likes it, except a very few people who will benefit from it. That's all.
Folks, I'm going to remind you again that I understand this is a very passionate issue. I understand that everyone has very passionate opinions, but for the sake of courtesy, for the sake of decorum, we would ask that your catcalling, your show of demonstration, while obviously it's your constitutional right to demonstrate, that you show some courtesy to the speaker, you show some courtesy at least to the proceeding that's going on here. Thank you. Next on the list is, I'm also taking preference for Chestnut Ridge residents. After I get through the Chestnut Ridge residents, I notice there are a few folks from outside the village. We'll get to them also. So next on the list would be Mr. Jonathan Corbin. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Corbin. Again, name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Jonathan Corbin, and I address 6 Aberdeen Avenue. And before I begin, I just want to say that the date that you have chosen, December 20th, is very inconvenient for many people. It is most distressing that we, the residents of Chestnut Ridge, have got left out of the process of drafting a new village zoning proposal. But no matter what plan will finally determine our village zoning laws, it is obvious that any plan is as good as its laws are respected as well as enforced. And that point is precisely my concern. With good reason, I remain skeptical that this plan will actually succeed. I say this because I have seen the village quietly issue a replacement certificate of occupancy to the false garage at 3 Spring Hill Terrace. Closer to where I live, I have seen the house at 312 Highland Avenue become an active house of worship without a certificate of occupancy. I have seen week after week over 50 worshipers at the house at one time. I have seen from 15 to 20 cars parked on the property squeezed together like sardines in a can. I have seen overflow cars parked on Perth Avenue. I have seen enough. What's going on here? The issues raised by these potential violations have to do specifically with illegal conversion of a garage without a permit, as well as obvious health and safety concerns. Surprisingly, all that we seem to know from viewing the property files of 312 Highland Avenue is that a violation of stop work order was issued by former code enforcer Everett Dierker way back on October 31st, 2017. So how much faith can we have that a future plan will be properly implemented and sufficiently enforced? If Mayor Presti and inspectors do not demonstrate the will to address blatant violations when they occur, then we are all just wasting our time. At a fall meeting of the Village Board of trustees, I asked the mayor whether the house at 312 Highland Avenue had a certificate of occupancy. He said that he didn't know. I asked him what's wrong with this picture. As our man in charge of this village, shouldn't the mayor know this? This is something that's been dragged out for a long time. In my opinion, this cop-out is a troubling example of a lack of commitment, a lack of governance, which ill serves the residents of Chestnut Ridge. My final comment is this: without the rule of law, without respect for the rules as we see too well in our democracy today, we are drifters drifting on a Sargasso Sea. Excuse the allusion.
Mr. Cohen, Norman Cohen.
Thank you. My name is Norman Cohen. I live at 11 Aberdeen. We've resided in the village of Chestnut Ridge for over 50 years, and we've seen the transformation that's taken place during this time. And needless to say, it's very, very sad indeed. I don't mean to present something that's very sad ahead of time, but I'm going to read to you something that really is quite disturbing. What its title is Welcome to Tombstone Alley, in memory of Mayor Presti's burial at the village of Chestnut Village. This is the way I feel, and this is the way I have to express myself. This sad demise has taken place due to our mayor's refusal to listen to his planning board, and I've heard this from members of the planning board, I won't mention any names, and also, in many cases, weak board of trustees who have begun to realize that they may have been duped. I'm sorry to say that too. I don't mean to insult anybody, but there are some that are pretty to question some of the decisions that you have made. Thank you, Mayor, for recently meeting, for secretly meeting with religious groups and his constituencies. In many cases, we are not aware of many of these meetings that have taken place. It's these secretive meetings, and therefore, it's very hard to trust a mayor that does not express openness with the full community, not just a religious group. Thank you for distorting the intent of our local laws, because our local was very specific, and it did not express the extent to which you are saying that you were abiding by the law, when the law did not say that you had to have 90% occupancy for religious purposes. And let us all pray that the village of Chestnut Ridge will not die. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen. Next would be Tony Vinceno. Tony? I'm sorry? Okay, yeah. Hilda Cohen. Oh, I'm sorry, I lost track. Sure, next attorney, Mr. Benny. Bernie. One up, counsel. And again, you got, okay. Yes, you've got 10.
I'm actually not going to use my full time.
Well,
One of the few.
just name and address for the record, please, and then you've got 10 minutes. If you don't want to use it, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So my name is Richard Burney. I'm an attorney at Cozen O'Connor, and we represent Tucson. Okay, sorry. I'm an attorney at, my name is Richard Burney. I'm an attorney at Cozen O'Connor, and we represent Tucson. And I have attended previous hearings. And I just wanted to state very adamantly that our LUPA does not in any way mandate want to make these changes without getting the input from the community. Now, the community, Coupon, supports a comprehensive plan where everyone can get involved and we can meet the requirements of our RLUPA and meet the requirements that are important for fairness for everybody in this community. RLUPA talks about substantial burdens upon a religion. Truth is not a substantial burden upon religious freedom, upon the exercise of religious freedom. It's very important that you don't just go out there without really studying it carefully and developing a comprehensive plan to dictate enormous changes which are going to affect this community for years and years. The whole concept of having houses where 49 people can come in and create large structures without variances, that's never mandated by a law like RLUPA. There are many other ways to do this, and I urge you, like so many members in this community, to go through a process which includes planning, which will benefit everyone, and not just one religious group. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor. Ms. Colbert?
Hilda Kogan, 20 Pine Knoll Court. I have, first of all, some more letters that I'd like to provide to you. The first large group are Village of Chestnut Ridge residents, and the other are from contiguous communities that have a concern about the adoption of the House of Worship resolution. If my numbers are right, we should probably have well over 750 letters. It just matters that people care. Before I even make my comments about the House of Worship resolution, I want to speak to the issue of how we count. I would say, Mr. Mayor, that if the Board of Elections had counted your ballots the way you counted my letters, you probably would be the assembly person elect. However, you have to count one for one. And I'm looking at your quote last night in the newspaper, and one of the newspapers you said, Pressy said nearly equal amounts supporting the zoning for houses of worship have been received. He said many of the opposition letters are from multiple family members and people who live in other Ramapo communities and even towns. Well, the deal is that if 5 people live in a house and all those 5 people are able to vote, then those are 5 votes. It's not 1 vote for a house.
That's correct.
Wait, I'm talking now. I get to speak, and then you respond. So my point is the idea that you start segmenting when you did not segment or analyze the 639 letters in favor of this resolution. You didn't treat us fairly, and you never do. And it's disgusting. This is a preordained law without consideration for anybody else. This law, no matter how it's drafted, how many iterations there are, it still doesn't consider the fact that people in this room want to participate in the process and are denied. Mr. Sebastian said of the last 2 hearings, only 3 comments were worthy of consideration for the second iteration because they were all the others were anti-Semitic. Well, that's nonsense. Last but not least, I agree.
Excuse me. Please, folks,
Come up here.
please.
Sign your name and come up here.
Ms. Colbert, please, just commit to us. Please.
I'm talking to you. All right. So again, back to my point. That there are, as Mr. Mogul observed, many villages in the town of Ramapo that have comprehensive plans. And I actually spoke to Wesley Hills because Wesley Hills has been used as the poster child for houses of worship. Well, what I know about Wesley Hills is that there is no comprehensive plan because they don't really have a lot of land to develop, and they never put together a comprehensive plan from Jump Street. And I get this from the village clerk, Camille. I can't remember her last name, but this is my conversation with her. But what I do know is their gathering law has evolved over the years since that village was incorporated. We don't have that. We're going to go from 5 acres to 3 different kinds of facilities. Who's going to count those people on the weekends? Who's going to deal with the poor people who live on Spring Hill Terrace when there are 200 vans parked there for a social occasion? Nobody cares, Mr. Mayor. And every time somebody talks to you about a situation that occurs outside the regular working day, our code enforcement people are not available. Call the police about the traffic. You don't care about us, and that's a shame. This law should not be adopted. You need to do it around the table with everybody offering input. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Goldberg. Thank you for the letters, and I will address the comment because I did answer Ms. Colbert when she asked me about why I had organized the letters the way I did, and I'll explain to you the same way that I explained to her. The letters that we got in support of the law were a little over 600, give or take, and they were from just similar to what Coupon was submitting in that one person signed from every household, which was fine. When we got the letters from Coupon that numbered 700, give or take, maybe a little bit more, I have no issue with everyone in the household submitting a letter. My issue was, and I told Ms. Colbert, was that we had 12 letters from one address from 6 family members. Don't tell me it's wrong because I have it in Village Hall.